During the time of pandemic, yogi practice at home. Mindful eating is one of our practice. Today, the subject of our talk is clear comprehension in eating. Sambuzinya Papa. Our bodies are so made that they need nourishment every day. So we have to eat every day to keep ourselves alive. Eating has become a big part of our lives. People have to spend a lot of time for eating. That means try to find things and cook them and eat them until the dishes are done. But not everybody eats wisely. Some eat what is detrimental to their health and pay the price with different diseases. Yogis are fortunate that Vipassana teaches them how to eat wisely. Vipassana teaches us that if we pay attention to what activities involved in eating, we will not only improve our health, but also we can gain insight knowledge into the true nature of eating. In the great discourse of the four foundations of mindfulness, Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha taught clear comprehension. And in that section, Buddha taught that we must apply clear comprehension when we go forward, when we go back, when we stretch, when we bend, and so on. And one teaching included there is apply clear comprehension when we eat, drink, chew, lick, and obey the calls of nature. Asite, pite, kaite, saite, sambajanakari hoti, ochara pasavagami sambajanakari hoti. There are four kinds of food: soft food, food that can be drunk, and food that is eaten by biting or chewing, and food that is eaten by licking. Eating is for food like rice, curry, and others, and drinking is for food like rice soup, and chewing is for food, hot food like cakes and cookies or fruits, and licking is for food like honey. Whatever food we are eating, Buddha said, we are to apply clear comprehension. Actually, in order to gain clear comprehension in eating, we need to apply mindfulness to eating. Without mindfulness, there can be no concentration, and without concentration, there can be no comprehension. So, basically, we must apply mindfulness to eating. So in the commentary, a more detailed instruction is given. Before we try to understand clear comprehension in eating, first we must understand clear comprehension. Comprehension is correct understanding. And the commentary said that there are 4 kinds of clear comprehension. Clear comprehension of what is beneficial or what is not. Sattaka Sambhajanya. Comprehension of what is suitable or not suitable. Sapaya Sambhajanya. Clear comprehension of the result or domain. Kochara Sambhajanya. And clear comprehension or non-delusion, asamoha sambhajanya. Clear comprehension of what is beneficial or what is not is try to find out whether in this case to eat something is beneficial for our body or for our health. And when we find out that it is beneficial, then the second step we must do is to see whether it is suitable to eat that food. If by eating some food we get uncomfortable, then that food is not suitable for us. If by eating some food the unwholesome mental state increase in our minds and wholesome mental state diminish in our minds, then that food is definitely not suitable. So we must find out whether the food, although it is beneficial, is suitable or not, and only when it is suitable, we are to take it. So these 2 kinds of clear comprehension can be used both in and out of the meditation. When we are meditating also, we can use or we can apply these 2 kinds of clear comprehension, Sattaka and Sapaya Sambhajanya. The third one is clear comprehension of resort or domain, Kochara Sambhajanya. Clear comprehension of domain means just not giving up meditation while eating. That means eating with mindfulness or applying mindfulness to the activities involved in the act of eating. That is what yogis do at the retreat. Also now you are practicing at home. When you eat, you have to be mindful or you have to make mental notes of the small activities involved in the act of eating. When you eat, what do you do? Following the instruction given in the commentaries, first you may pick up the bowls or plates or spoons or forks, and then you may put food on the plates. You may take the food in the spoon, then bring the food to the mouth. You open the mouth and you put the food into the mouth. then you chew the food and then you swallow it down. The food gets into the stomach and it is digested there. And then digested food gets to be expelled from your body. The commentary said that all these activities should be done with mindfulness. When you look at the food, you have to be mindful of looking. When you pick up the bowls, be mindful of picking up, or make notes as picking, picking. And when you take the food into the spoon, you may make mental notes as taking, taking. And then when you bring the food to the mouth, be mindful of bringing. Be mindful as bringing. And you open the mouth, be mindful of opening. When you put the food into the mouth, be mindful of putting. And when you chew, be mindful of chewing. And when you swallow it down, be mindful of swallowing. And you know whether the food is digested or not. So when you know the food is digested, then you be mindful that it is digested and so on. So you eat with mindfulness in this way. What is the benefits you get from eating with mindfulness? Apart from getting spiritual results, eating with mindfulness helps you to avoid overeating. Since you have to be making notes of every activity, you don't want to eat more than is necessary. Even eating becomes a burden. You do not tend to overeat when you eat with mindfulness. When you do not overeat, you can improve your health and also you can keep your weight down. It is beneficial for people to eat food with mindfulness. So when you are eating with mindfulness and paying attention to all these activities, your mind becomes concentrated. When this concentration is developed, you begin to see the true nature of these activities. Good results. So far as you practice what is called the clear comprehension of domain or result, that means you practice mindfulness on eating and activities involved in eating. When the clear comprehension of result becomes mature, that means when you get concentration, then you begin to see the true nature. You begin to see correctly the activities involved. So you get clear comprehension of non-delusion, asamoha. Non-delusion means understanding clearly or understanding correctly. In these activities, actually, what are involved? What are involved in these activities are just the elements, rupa and nama. You all are very familiar, the rupa and nama, or the elements, four elements. Patavi Dhatu, the elements of earth, Apo Dhatu, the elements of water, Tejo Dhatu, the elements of fire, and Vayu Dhatu, the elements of air. Most people are familiar with these four elements, but the commentaries added two more elements, Akasa Dhatu, the elements of space, and Vijnana Dhatu, the elements of consciousness. So it mentioned that all these elements are involved in these activities. Actually, these activities are nothing but these elements functioning. When you pick up the bowl, you mindful and you understand picking up the bowl, that picking up is caused by the air elements. And that air elements is again caused by your mind, caused by your mental activities. You're really mindful and you capture the desire. You have the desire to pick up, and that is mental activities, and then you pick it up. So picking up is caused by the mental activities, which is the desire to pick up, rupa and nama. And when you have the desire to pick up, that desire produces the material elements of air in the body. And it is actually the diffusion of these elements of air that we call movement. When we make movements, the air elements is always involved. You pick up by the force of air elements, and then you take the food into the mouth, lifting the food to the mouth. There is also air elements. By the diffusion of air elements, you put the food into the mouth. Again, by air elements, you open the mouth by air elements. You chew the food by air elements, and you swallow the food down by air elements. When you make these activities, you can see that there is no such things as self-eating. If you're mindful, you understand it is just the air elements doing different function. It is the air elements that pick up the food, that takes to the mouth, that open the mouth, and so on. What is involved is not only the air elements, but the earth elements. Earth elements has the nature of being receptacle, something for some other things. When in the picking up or lifting the food to the mouth, opening the mouth and so on, the earth element is also involved. When the food, after being crushed by the upper and lower teeth, reaches the stomach, it is put there by the air elements. And when it reaches the stomach, it is cooked or it is digested. That digestion is by the fire elements or the elements of heat. These elements of heat goes the food, and so it becomes digested. After it is digested, it goes down through the intestine. That going down through the intestine is caused by, again, air element. And then water elements keeps the moistures in the food. It keeps the food moistened because if it does not function, then the food will become dry because fire elements is there. So in order to keep digested food from getting too hurt, the water elements keeping it moist and keeping it wet. In this eating process, we now see the four elements. Actually, it is these four elements functioning. They are doing their different function that we call eating. So in this act of eating, we cannot find anything other than these four elements. We cannot find any person or any self who eats, but just the elements doing their respective function. Now here the elements of space is also involved. That means it is like road for the digested food to go down to the lower entrance. There's nobody who picks up a stick and push it forward, but it is the air elements that moves the digested food downward. And for the food to go down, the space elements act as an avenue for it. And all these activities, even beginning with searching for food and so on, there is the consciousness, vijnana. There is mind, mental activities going on also. So in the act of eating, we find these six elements doing their respective function. We find just these six elements and nothing else. When we see that there is no such thing as a person or a self-eating, actually, these six elements functioning together, we are said to gain the correct understanding of the act of eating. This correct understanding we can acquire only when we apply mindfulness to the activities. Through the establishments of mindfulness, we gain concentration or quietness or steadiness of mind. And when the mind becomes quiet, it becomes steady. It helps practitioner to see the true nature. When there is dirt in the water, we cannot see through it, but when the dirt has subsided or settled down and water becomes clear, we can see through it. In the same way, when there are mental hindrances in the mind, we are not able to see the objects clearly. But once these mental hindrances are subdued, once they have settled down, then we begin to see clearly. When these mental hindrances are settled down, we are said to gain a certain degree of concentration. When concentration comes, then the seeing the true nature of things also comes. When we see that there are just these 6 elements doing their different function at the moment, and no agent or no person is to be found, then we gain a correct understanding of the act which we call eating. This understanding we can get only through our practice, not through reading books or listening to talks. Since it is our own seeing, we have to make effort. Nobody can make effort for us. So we have to do it ourselves. We have to practice, we have to apply mindfulness to the things we are doing. We have to apply clear comprehension to these activities. That is why in Vipassana meditation, we have to be mindful. We have to pay attention to whatever object is prominent at the present moment. But when eating is very prominent. These activities are prominent, and so we have to be mindful of these activities. It may be difficult for those who have no experience of applying mindfulness to activities in eating, or maybe boring. But in order to see the true nature, we have to watch them. We have to be mindful of the objects. It is through applying mindfulness that we gain concentration, and it is through concentration that we gain the correct understanding of these activities here, correct understanding of eating process. Once we understand the eating process, once we understand that this process is nothing but these 6 elements functioning together, then we can avoid attachment to eating, we can avoid attachment to food. So understand we can extinguish mental defilements when we really know the natural phenomena or natural uh, mind and body process as they really are. When we can avoid attachment or craving for food, we are said to abandoning the mental defilements momentarily. This momentary abandonment will lead to temporary abandonment, and this will lead ultimately to total abandonment when enlightenment is reached. In order to gain enlightenment, we need to see the true nature of things. We need to see the true nature of mind and body process as they really are. We need to be dispassionate towards all conditioned phenomena. In order to be dispassionate towards all conditioned phenomena, we need to see their true nature. In order to see the true nature, we need to observe, we need to apply mindfulness and clear comprehension. And eating is one part of our lives, and just by applying mindfulness, when we eat, we can go deep into the nature of eating. We can understand that there is nothing we can call a person or a self who eats, but just the elements functioning. We get this correct understanding through direct observation of the activities involved in eating. So the commentary explained in this way about the clear comprehension of non-delusion. Commentary says, internally there is no self which eats. The receiving of the alms bowl occurs as true diffusion of air elements resulting from mental activities. Through the diffusion of that same elements resulting from mental activities, the hand is placed in the bowl. That means you put down the hand into the bowl because in Eastern country we eat with our hands. In order to eat, we put down our hand into the bowl and we pick up rice and we make it into something like a ball, and then we bring it to the mouth and put it into the mouth. Through the diffusion of the same air elements resulting from mental activities, the hand is placed in the bowl, the food is formed into a lump, the lump is lifted to the mouth, and the mouth is opened. There is no one who opens the jaws with a key or device. It is again through the diffusion of air elements resulting from mental activities that the lump is placed in the mouth. The upper teeth perform the work of a pestle, the lower teeth the work of a mortar, and the tongue the work of a hand. So the food is smeared with the thin spittle at the tip of the tongue and the thick spittle at the root of the tongue. When it has been stirred around by the tongue's hand in the mortar of the lower teeth, moistened by spittle and pulverized, crushed by the pestle of the upper teeth, there is no one who makes it enter within a spoon or a ladle. It enters due to the air elements itself. As each piece enters, there is no one who supposes on a straw mat. It remains there due to the air elements. While it remains there, there is no one who bakes an oven, light a fire, and cooks each piece of food. The food is digested due to the heat elements itself. And when it is digested, there is no one who expels each piece of waste with a stick or pole. It is expelled due to the air elements. And some more, the commentary also said that clear comprehension of non-delusion should be further understood through reflection on the loathsomeness of food. The exposition on the loathsomeness of food is given in the Visuddhimagga. The process of eating is itself repulsive, with the hand squeezing food into lumps to be chewed by teeth and tongue and mixed with saliva. And then after being swallowed, the food mixed with bile and other internal secretion. Once this loathsomeness mass enters its receptacle, the stomach, it has reached a place that has never been washed, not even once, during the whole of our life. If we are 100 years old, then the place has remained unwashed for 100 years. Another reflection is by way of the undigested food in the stomach, where covered with froth and bubbles of fermentation, it becomes increasingly repulsive and filthy looking. And when it is digested, it becomes excrement and urine. Another reflection is on the elimination of food through the body's openings by way of excretion. It is said in the books that food enters by only one door and goes out through 9 doors. So you may reflect on the ways that food pollutes the body, forming sweat, earwax, nasal mucus, and so forth. Even when you pick up the food to eat it, the hand gets smeared. So we have to wash again and again to keep clean, and the outcome of food is great pollution. The Visuddhimagga offers some verse on the subjects of outflow, the oozing out. So this the verse you need to follow, Rudy. The food and drink so greatly prized. The food and drink so greatly prized. The grapes to chew, the soft to suck. The grapes to chew, the soft to suck. Go in all by a single door. Go in all by a single door. But 9 doors come oozing out. But 9 doors comes oozing out. So how many doors? 9 doors coming out. 2 eyes, 2 nose, etc. No? So second stanza, can you follow me? The food and drink so greatly prized. The grapes to chew, the soft to suck. Men like to eat in company, but to excrete in secrecy. So when the people eat, they enjoy the food in company, happily, delightfully. But when they when they expel, when to excrete, they have to go to the secret place in secrecy. So that stanza, can you follow me? The food and drink so greatly prized, the grapes to chew, the soft to suck. These a man eats with high delight, and then excrete with dumb disgust. So always are very disgusting. So you need to expel quietly. But when we take it, when people take it, they take it very delightfully. So the last stanza, follow me. The food and drink so greatly prized, the grapes to chew, the soft to suck. A single night will be enough to bring them to putridity. So after one night is already digested and is rotten, totally disgusted, totally become putridity. So there is how monks are taught to reflect on the loathsomeness of food, mentioned in Visuddhimagga. So contemplation on the loathsomeness of food is not vipassana meditation. It is one of the 40 samatha meditation subject, samatha meditation. However, reflecting that there are only elements, no soul or no entity involved, is vipassana contemplation. So when we eat, when we drink, when we chew, when we bite, or when we savor, or when we lick, we should apply clear comprehension, which means the application of mindfulness. When this application of mindfulness becomes mature, we become to know the true nature of eating, the reality in eating. There's no one eating. but only the namarupa, psychophysical process, but only the elements doing the act of eating. So this is vipassana. So we have to stop our discourse for today by practicing vipassana meditation by noting rising, falling, sitting, touching, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, eating, swallowing, bringing, etc. continuously and meticulously. May all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future. So,